want you to listen to these words with your full attention, even if right now you are tired, busy, or used to leaving these topics for later. Because what you are about to hear can make an enormous difference in your health, in your peace of mind, and in your daily life. Imagine for a moment any ordinary night. You go to bed looking for rest, you close your eyes, you feel the tiredness in your muscles, but after a few hours something wakes you up. An uncomfortable pressure in your bladder. You get up, walk quietly through the house, go to the bathroom and urinate, but the feeling of relief lasts only a moment. You return to bed, you try to sleep, and when you finally manage to drift off, again the same urge appears. Many men think it is normal, that they are older now, but let me tell you something clearly. It is not normal, and it is not something you should accept in silence. That small detail, that getting up several times during the night, is not simply an inconvenience. It is a signal your body is sending you, soft at the beginning, almost like a whisper. But every ignored whisper becomes, with time, a shout that can no longer be silenced. I have known many men who lived this same pattern for years. They got up 2, 3, even 4 times a night, thinking it was a natural part of aging. They stayed quiet. They did not talk about it with their partner, nor with their children, nor with a doctor. But meanwhile, night after night, their sleep broke into pieces, their energy decreased, their mood changed, and little by little the vitality that once accompanied them began to fade. And the worst part is not only the tiredness. It is what that symptom could be warning about underneath, the possibility that the prostate is growing and beginning to obstruct the urinary flow. A silent process, slow, but one that can deeply affect your well-being, your rest, and even your relationship with yourself and with the people you love. Today we are going to talk about this without shame, without taboos, and without fear. Because the right information at the right moment can change entire destinies. When a man begins to get up several times during the night to urinate, almost always the same thought appears. It must be age, it is normal, it happens to all of us sooner or later. And that is exactly where many make a mistake. That very common reasoning leads thousands of men to ignore important signals for years. They let it pass, they hide it, they get used to it in silence. They do not mention it at home, they do not share it with friends, much less bring it up in a medical checkup. And in this way, a small inconvenience becomes a daily burden that affects their energy, their mood, and their quality of life. But let us think about something you maybe never stop to analyze. The body rarely speaks without a reason. It does not do things just because. If it begins to wake you up at night again and again, it is because something inside you is needing attention. When one part of your body is working differently from how it worked before, it is trying to tell you that something is changing. And that change can be mild, moderate, or even serious, depending on how long it is ignored. Many men prefer to stay quiet out of pride, others out of fear of receiving bad news. And some simply because they grew up hearing that these topics are not discussed, that intimate health is something private. But let me say this with complete clarity, staying quiet does not protect you. Not talking about it does not make it disappear. It only makes it bigger, more persistent, and more complicated. I have seen men who spent years convincing themselves that they could handle it on their own. But meanwhile, their sleep deteriorated night after night. And when sleep is repeatedly broken, the body pays the price. You wake up tired, without patience, with a clouded mind, feeling that the day has barely begun and you are already exhausted. Even simple things, like a calm conversation, reading the newspaper, or enjoying breakfast, feel heavy because you did not get the rest your body needs to function. It is not just getting up to go to the bathroom. It is what that represents. The constant interruption of the most restorative rest, that deep sleep the brain uses to repair, clean, heal, and strengthen your body. That is where vitality begins to fade, your mood weakens, and even your relationships can feel the impact. This is why, even if it seems small, it is not. It is a signal, and like any signal, it deserves to be heard. Before continuing, I would love to know something to connect with our community. From which city or country are you watching us? Write it in the comments. I love knowing the people who truly care about their health, and this helps me create content that is more useful and relevant for you and your region. Let's get to the point. The prostate is a small gland about the size of a walnut that is located right below the bladder and surrounds the urethra, the tube through which urine exits the body. Even though its size is small, its function is essential. It produces part of the seminal fluid that nourishes and protects sperm, contributing to fertility and male hormonal balance. Think of the prostate as a small service station inside the reproductive system. Its work is discreet but essential. As the years pass, it is common for this gland to increase slightly in size. That growth is not always pathological, but when the prostate expands, it can begin to press against the urethra, as if a garden hose were partially flattened. Imagine trying to let water flow through a bent hose. The stream decreases, the flow becomes irregular, and emptying is no longer complete. The same principle applies here. If the urethra becomes narrower, the bladder has to work harder to expel urine, and even then there is always some residue left. In medical terms, we refer to benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, to describe that non-cancerous enlargement that produces obstructive symptoms and other signs. It is benign because it is not cancer, but that does not mean it is harmless. The obstruction it causes can significantly affect quality of life. To explain it with another metaphor, imagine a movie theater where the exits become narrower. At first, there are small delays. Later, people begin pushing, and finally, a real bottleneck can form that prevents a quick and safe exit. When the prostate presses on the urethra, bladder emptying becomes incomplete and clear signals begin to appear. The need to get up several times during the night, a weak or intermittent stream, difficulty starting urination, dripping at the end, or the feeling of not having finished. These discomforts, even if they seem minor, reflect a real functional alteration. The bladder works under tension, and with time its walls can thicken and lose elasticity, complicating the problem even more. It is important to distinguish between benign enlargement and other prostate conditions, such as prostatitis, which is inflammation caused by infection or irritation, or prostate cancer. Each one has its own characteristics, but they share symptoms that are often confused. This is why, when any of these signs appear, the practical and sensible recommendation is not to wait. It is to ask for a medical evaluation, where simple tests can be done, including a medical history, a physical exam, urine and blood tests, and, if necessary, more specific studies to identify the cause and choose the best strategy. In summary, even though the prostate is small, its changes have big consequences. Do not underestimate it. Listen to the signals your body gives you and act with calmness and determination. A diagnosis made at the right time opens many doors, from lifestyle measures that can relieve symptoms to less invasive medical treatments that help you recover rest and quality of life. When the prostate begins to grow or become more sensitive, it does not only affect the way you urinate. It also influences a man's intimate life. Urinary health and sexual health are connected because they share nerves, muscles, and blood vessels. This is why, when something changes in the prostate, it can also be felt in erection quality, in sexual desire, and in the feeling of general well-being. Imagine the prostate as a small control center located right at the point where different pathways of the body meet. If that center becomes congested or inflamed, the energetic and functional flow becomes slower. This can result in less firm erections, decreased desire, less intense orgasms, or even a feeling of disconnection from one's own sexuality. It is not a personal failure, and it is not a sign of weakness. It is a physiological consequence of a structural change. Many older men, when they notice these changes, tend to remain silent. They may feel embarrassment or fear of being judged. Some think it is age, that nothing can be done. However, this idea is false and can cause more harm than the initial problem. Sexual health does not have an expiration date. It does not disappear when a man turns 50, 60, or 70. The body changes, yes, but it can adapt, improve, and function with dignity if it receives proper attention. When the prostate presses the urethra, a man may wake up several times during the night to urinate. This small detail wears down the next day's total energy. Chronic tiredness affects mood, increases stress, and reduces sexual desire. Here we see how physical symptoms mix with emotional ones. There is no sexual health without rest, without calmness, and without an internal sense of well-being. Besides this, emotional tension can also influence erection. Worrying about failing, anxiety about performance, or feeling unable to function as before can create a negative cycle. The more a man thinks about it, the harder it becomes to relax. And relaxation is one of the fundamental ingredients of pleasure. This is why this topic must be approached with calm and respect. The goal is not to return to the sexuality of your 20s, but to build a mature, conscious, and satisfying sexuality. A sexuality where pleasure does not depend only on physical strength, but on connection, affection, communication, and attention to the body. In simple words, the prostate influences sexuality, but knowing and caring for this part of the body can open the door to an intimate life that is full, peaceful, and meaningful, even and especially in maturity. Recognizing the signals of the body is essential. Many times men minimize or ignore symptoms because they are used to enduring or because they think it is normal at their age. However, the body always speaks. We only need to learn to listen without fear or shame. One of the most common signals is a change in urinary flow. The stream may be weaker, it may take longer to start, or it may stop several times. Sometimes, even after urinating, the sensation remains that the bladder is not completely empty. This is not just an inconvenience. It is a direct signal that the prostate is applying pressure. Another important signal is the need to get up several times during the night to go to the bathroom. At first, it may seem like something isolated, one night, then two, and later it becomes a routine. Getting up repeatedly interrupts the deep phases of sleep, the phases that truly regenerate the body. This affects energy, concentration, and mood the next day. This simple detail can slowly transform the quality of daily life. Small discomforts or sensations of heaviness in the pelvic area can also appear. It does not always hurt clearly. Sometimes it is just a constant discomfort, as if something were carrying internal weight. This sensation is easy to ignore, but it is important to acknowledge it. The body is saying that something needs attention. In some cases, changes in sexual function can appear, such as less firm erections, less desire, or difficulty maintaining sexual arousal. This does not mean that sexuality has ended. It means that the body needs support, rest, and a different kind of care. A simple example. Let us imagine a man named John, 62 years old. He was always active, worked hard, and was used to not complaining. He started getting up 3 or 4 times per night to urinate, but he said it was an age thing. Later, he began to feel tired, less motivated, and his intimate life slowly began to fade. When he finally decided to consult, he learned that his prostate was inflamed and that his daily habits were also affecting his health. With some changes and proper attention, his energy returned and his intimate life recovered warmth and fluidity. This example reflects the reality of millions of men. It is not age that takes vitality away, but the lack of attention to the body when it begins to ask for help. Listening to the signals is not an act of weakness. It is an act of respect toward oneself. Ignoring warning signs of the prostate does not only affect urinary function. It can have deep consequences for general health and daily life. When the bladder never empties completely, the residual urine becomes a perfect breeding ground for bacteria, increasing the risk of recurrent urinary infections. These infections are sometimes silent. They do not always cause fever or pain, but they can create confusion, weakness, and disorientation, especially in older men. It is as if the body were speaking in a subtle language that many do not know how to interpret until the problem becomes obvious. Fragmented sleep is another direct consequence. Every time you wake up during the night, you interrupt the deep cycles of sleep, the cycles that truly regenerate the body. This affects the immune system, increases daytime fatigue, and can trigger mood changes, irritability, or anxiety. With time, lack of sleep can also contribute to weight gain, alterations in blood sugar, and a higher risk of hypertension or cardiovascular problems. It is like a chain. A small prostate problem creates a domino effect that impacts many areas of life. In addition, retained urine encourages the formation of stones in the bladder, which are painful and difficult to eliminate. In extreme cases, The obstruction can cause reflux toward the kidneys, compromising their function and increasing the risk of kidney failure. This is why an apparently mild symptom can turn into a serious threat if it is ignored. The emotional impact is also enormous. Constant worry about needing to go to the bathroom, accumulated tiredness, and the interruption of rest affect self-esteem and confidence. Some men avoid going out, feel insecure in social or family gatherings, and begin to live with silent fear. This emotional weight is not visible, but it is as real as the physical symptoms. An illustrative example is the following. David, 65 years old, noticed that he got up 5 times per night and began to feel irritable and discouraged. His relationship with his wife became tense, and he lost interest in activities he once enjoyed, such as walking with friends or playing with his grandchildren. Only when he decided to address the problem did he discover that his prostate was inflamed and that small changes in his routine could significantly improve his quality of life. In a few weeks, he regained sleep, energy, and motivation, showing that the consequences can be reversed with attention and consistency. In conclusion, prostate symptoms are not a minor detail or a normal effect of age. They are clear signals that your body needs care, and paying attention to them now can prevent bigger problems in the future and restore physical, emotional, and sexual well-being. Acting on time can make the difference between a simple treatment and a serious problem that affects your health and daily life. Every man who ignores the first warning signs risks having the symptoms worsen, creating a vicious cycle that is difficult to break. The good news is that the body always offers opportunities to improve, and early intervention allows less invasive and more effective solutions. Think about this as a car. If a warning light on the dashboard indicates a minor failure, you can stop, check, and solve the problem easily. If you ignore the signal and continue driving, the damage can become much more serious and expensive. The same thing happens with the prostate. The first whispers of discomfort, weak flow, or getting up multiple times during the night should not be ignored. They are clear messages that require attention. It is not only a matter of comfort. Ignoring these symptoms prolongs physical discomfort, increases daily fatigue, and can generate constant anxiety. Every interrupted night, every worry about urinary function or sexual health adds stress to the body. This chronic stress then increases inflammation and can worsen prostate symptoms, creating a cycle that seems difficult to break but can be controlled with conscious and consistent decisions. There are also emotional and family consequences. Many men hide these problems out of shame or fear, and this can affect the relationship with their partner. Lack of sleep and accumulated irritability create tension, small arguments, and a feeling of disconnection. Recognizing the problem and taking action strengthens self-esteem and improves communication at home, showing that taking care of yourself is also an act of care toward those you love. A concrete example is this one. Mark, 58 years old, noticed that at first he got up only twice per night, but with time it became 4 or 5. He ignored the symptoms for months because he thought it was normal. His tiredness made him irritable, and he began to avoid social activities. After consulting on time, he received guidance about lifestyle habits and proper medical monitoring. In a few weeks, he regained sleep, energy, and confidence, improving not only his physical health, but also his family relationships. In summary, procrastination is the greatest enemy of prostate health. Every signal your body gives you must be heard and addressed with respect. Prevention and early action not only protect your prostate, but also preserve your energy, emotional well-being, and intimate life. Taking care of the prostate does not depend solely on medications or medical treatments. A large part of prostate well-being is directly connected to what you do each day, how you eat, how you move, and how you manage stress. Think of your body as a garden. If you only focus on removing weeds when they have already grown, you will never have a truly healthy garden. It is much more effective to nourish the soil, water it, and protect it daily. The same thing happens with the prostate. Daily habits are the foundation of its health. Nutrition plays a fundamental role. Reducing or eliminating ultra-processed foods, processed meats, fried foods, and excess sugars helps decrease inflammation throughout the body, including the prostate. Increasing the consumption of green vegetables, fresh fruits, and antioxidant-rich foods protects the cells and supports optimal functioning. For example, including spinach, broccoli, blueberries, or bell peppers in your daily diet provides compounds that fight inflammation and support hormonal balance. Proteins are also key. Prefer lean sources such as fish, skinless chicken, or legumes. Avoid processed red meats as much as possible because they generate inflammation and can worsen prostate symptoms. Nuts and seeds, such as almonds, walnuts, chia, or flaxseed, provide healthy fats and fiber, balancing the body and supporting intestinal transit, which indirectly helps urinary function. Hydration cannot be underestimated. Drinking enough water keeps the bladder in good condition and helps eliminate toxins. Moderating alcohol and caffeine is equally important because both irritate the bladder and can worsen urinary urgency and night awakenings. Daily movement is another powerful tool. It is not about intense workouts or spending hours in the gym. It is about walking at least 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week. This simple practice improves circulation, reduces inflammation, helps maintain a healthy weight, and therefore protects the prostate. Even everyday activities, such as climbing stairs or doing house chores actively, help keep the muscles and organs in good condition. Pelvic floor exercises, known as Kegel exercises, are an effective and discreet resource. Strengthening the muscles that control urination not only reduces urine leakage, but also improves the sense of control and confidence in daily life. Practicing them for a few minutes a day, even while doing other tasks, can make a notable difference in a few weeks. Finally, managing stress is essential. Constant tension makes the body release hormones that increase inflammation, including inflammation of the prostate. Deep breathing, guided meditation, outdoor walks, or pleasant activities such as reading or listening to relaxing music help balance the mind and the body. The combination of healthy habits, regular movement, and stress management is the most powerful strategy a man can apply to care for his prostate naturally and effectively. There are natural and practical ways to support prostate health, and one of the most effective is to incorporate ingredients with anti-inflammatory properties into daily nutrition. A simple, safe, and scientifically supported preparation combines fresh turmeric, ground flaxseed, and lemon juice. Each of these elements provides specific benefits that, together, help reduce inflammation, improve urinary function, and strengthen overall well-being. Turmeric contains curcumin, a powerful anti-inflammatory compound that science has compared to certain medications, but without aggressive side effects. It works like an internal firefighter, extinguishing the invisible fires that occur in prostate tissues and throughout the body. For example, men who include turmeric in their diet notice fewer urinary discomforts and a general sense of relief within a few weeks. Flaxseed is rich in omega-3 fatty acids and lignans, which help balance hormones and reduce inflammation. In addition, its high fiber content improves digestion and helps maintain a healthy intestinal system, which indirectly supports prostate function. Think of flaxseed as a natural cleaner that keeps internal organs and pathways functioning smoothly. Lemon, in turn, provides vitamin C and antioxidants, strengthens the immune system, and has a mild diuretic effect that helps cleanse the urinary tract. In addition, citric acid enhances the absorption of curcumin, multiplying its beneficial effects. Adding fresh lemon juice is like adding an extra ally that boosts the full potential of the drink. Preparing this drink is simple. Grate about 1 inch of fresh turmeric and place it in a cup. Add 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed and squeeze half a fresh lemon. Add warm water, not boiling, and let it rest for 5 minutes. The ideal routine is to drink it on an empty stomach once a day, ensuring consistency to obtain visible results. It is an easy ritual to integrate, one that does not require drastic changes, but that, with discipline, can transform quality of life. It is important to understand that this drink is not a miracle solution from one day to the next, but a tool that, combined with healthy habits, can reduce inflammation, improve sleep, and restore energy and vitality. Men who add it to their daily routine for several weeks report fewer nighttime awakenings, more strength in urine flow, and a noticeable increase in physical and emotional well-being. A practical example: Andrew, 61 years old, began drinking this preparation every morning. After 4 weeks, he noticed that he no longer woke up with the same frequency, that his daytime energy improved, and that his mood and concentration returned to levels he had not felt in years. These types of changes show that small, consistent daily steps can have a deep and lasting effect on a man's life. Consistency is the key for any real change in prostate health. It is not enough to drink the natural preparation one day and expect miracles. Results come when it is incorporated daily and steadily into the routine. Discipline, even if it seems simple, is the difference between continuing to suffer symptoms and recovering energy, sleep, and general well-being. A useful comparison is to imagine the prostate as a precision clock. It requires regular maintenance. Each day it receives care through healthy habits, proper nutrition, hydration, and movement. The pieces work better. If it is ignored, even the strongest clock can wear down and lose accuracy. In the same way, the combination of the anti-inflammatory drink, a balanced diet, and exercise strengthens the prostate and prevents long-term complications. The estimated time to notice visible improvements is usually 6 to 8 weeks. However, it is essential to understand that each body responds differently. Some men may experience significant changes within a few weeks, such as a reduction in nighttime awakenings or the sensation of complete emptying, while others require a longer period. The important thing is not to give up and to maintain the routine consistently. The natural drink can be combined with a balanced diet, fresh vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, and healthy fats such as nuts or olive oil. Avoiding ultra-processed foods, excess sugars, and fried foods increases the effectiveness of prostate care. In addition, proper hydration helps empty the bladder completely and prevents infections, while limiting alcohol and caffeine protects urinary health and deep sleep. Exercise complements the benefits. Walking daily, performing gentle stretches, and practicing pelvic floor exercises, also known as Kegel exercises, strengthens the muscles, improves urinary control, and helps maintain vitality. Intense training or hours in the gym are not required. Consistency in simple routines produces sustainable results. Stress management is another essential component. Deep breathing techniques, guided meditation, or simply spending time on enjoyable activities help balance the mind and body, reducing inflammation and optimizing prostate function. The connection between emotional well-being and physical health is direct. When the mind is calm, the body responds better. In simple terms, sustainable changes in the prostate depend on daily action, discipline, and complementary habits. Integrating the anti-inflammatory drink, healthy nutrition, regular movement, and stress control not only relieves symptoms, but transforms quality of life in an integral way. Men who adopt this consistent routine regain deep sleep, daytime energy, self-confidence, and emotional well-being, showing that it is never too late to take action and care for personal health. Nothing is more inspiring than real examples of men who, by taking action, transformed their lives. These stories show that prostate symptoms are not a sentence, but a call to take care of oneself and recover physical, emotional, and sexual well-being. For example, Robert, 63 years old, spent months waking up as many as 5 times per night. His fragmented sleep left him exhausted, with low energy and a depressed mood. In addition, he began to feel afraid to leave his home, worried about finding a bathroom quickly. When he decided to adopt dietary changes, incorporate the anti-inflammatory drink, and walk every day, results began to appear within a few weeks. Robert slept better, felt more active, and regained the confidence to enjoy outings with his family. His story shows how simple and consistent habits can restore peace and lost energy. Another example is James, 67 years old, who felt that his intimate life was fading. The combination of fragmented sleep, stress, and weak urine flow affected his relationship with his partner and his self-esteem. By implementing dietary changes, drinking the turmeric, flaxseed, and lemon preparation daily and performing Kegel exercises, James noticed a significant improvement in his urinary control and in his sexual vitality. His example shows that prostate health directly impacts the quality of intimate life and the relationship with loved ones. These stories have a clear message: it is never too late to take action. Age is not a barrier, but a reminder that early attention and daily habits can change the course of life. The combination of consistency, healthy habits, movement, and emotional care has a cumulative effect that improves energy, mood, sleep, and confidence. Imagine waking up every morning rested, strong, without the anxiety of having to look for a bathroom constantly, and with the certainty that your body responds well to your needs. This level of well-being is possible for all men who decide to listen to the signals of their body and act with determination. The final lesson is motivating. Every night you sleep well, every day you take care of your body, and every healthy habit you add is an investment in your health, your intimate life, and your future happiness. Men like Robert and James showed that with patience, consistency, and concrete actions, it is possible to regain control of personal health and enjoy life fully, even beyond the age of 60. Now it is your moment. Each symptom you have experienced, such as waking up several times during the night, weak flow, a sensation of incomplete emptying, or changes in your intimate life, is a clear message from your body: I need attention. Ignoring these signals only prolongs discomfort and the risk of complications. But taking action, even with small steps, can transform your life in a profound way. Think of this like turning on a light in a dark room. At first, the light seems small and barely bright, but every time you add a healthy habit, every daily walk, every well-taken glass of water, every natural preparation, the light becomes brighter. Over time, your health, your energy, and your well-being become clear and visible, illuminating your daily life and your relationships. Taking action does not mean drastic changes from one day to the next. It means integrating simple and effective habits such as drinking the turmeric, flaxseed, and lemon preparation every morning, improving nutrition, walking daily, practicing Kegel exercises, and managing stress. Each step reinforces the next, creating a cumulative effect that benefits the prostate and the entire body. In addition, these changes bring confidence, calm, and peace, allowing you to enjoy your relationships, your family, and your daily life without fear or anxiety. Stories like those of Robert, James, and Andrew show that the results are real. Older men recover deep sleep, stable energy, sexual well-being, and a renewed sense of control over their health. These experiences are proof that it is never too late to take action, and that every conscious decision has a direct impact on quality of life. Today, you can decide to begin. Do not wait for symptoms to worsen or for fatigue and discomfort to become routine. Every day counts, and every night well slept is a step toward your health and happiness. Your body, your mind, and your family will appreciate it. Make a commitment to yourself. Listen to your body, act with consistency, take care of your prostate, and recover your well-being. With patience and discipline, the changes that seem small today will become a life filled with energy, confidence, and joy. Begin now. Your health, your rest, and your vitality depend on what you choose to do today.